Guys, today is an exciting day. We finally have Gravity in Atmos again. So, what do I mean by again? Okay, I need to back up a little bit. Years ago, Gravity was released on Blu ray in a version called the Diamond Lux Edition. And what was special about this version is that it included the Dolby Atmos soundtrack. And this was a real popular version. Unfortunately, it sold out and went out of print. They did not make any more of them. And as a result, it's been in high demand ever since. And so, what few copies there are out there, they sell for big bucks on eBay and other reseller sites. I found recently a listing for a Diamond Lux version for $400 on eBay. Now, is anybody actually paying that much for it? I don't know, but it's definitely listed for that much, and there's not very many on the site. So if you want one, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. So what this means is that in order to get the Atmos version, it's only available on an out-of-print edition. Now, you can buy a regular Blu-ray, but that does not include the Atmos edition of the soundtrack. So you're kind of out of luck. Now, I have I've watched Gravity on the regular Blu-ray here in my theater with just the regular, I think it's a 5.1 soundtrack, and it sounded good. It was decent. It was okay. I used an up mixer on my processor, and it sounded okay, but it wasn't Atmos. And I tried to get my hands on one of those Diamond Lux editions, but again, they're super expensive, and the only other alternative would be to borrow one from somebody who has them, but there aren't that many out there. Until today, and that's why this is a big deal. This was released yesterday with little to no fanfare. Warner Brothers just quietly put this out there. And this is a Blu-ray copy of Gravity that is what appears to be identical to what is on the Diamond Lux edition. It even includes the Silent Space soundtrack, which is the regular movie just without any music accompanying it. But it is in Atmos, and I watched it last night in Atmos, and this is the third time I've seen this movie. And I got to say, it was the most amazing experience of the three. Seeing it in Atmos here in my home theater, there's a reason why this particular movie in Atmos has reached such, I would say, legendary or even mythic status, because it was amazing. It was astounding. The soundtrack in Atmos, in space, creates such a unique environment that you don't find in other films. For this reason, when you're watching a regular movie, the sound kind of happens in front of you or off to the side because you're standing on Earth. But in space, the whole sound or the whole environment that you're in is actually a sphere that encircles you. So everything can move around you in literally any direction. And the Atmos soundtrack in this movie takes full advantage of that. From the perspective of, say, Sandra Bullock, and George Clooney is rotating around her and he's talking to her, his voice travels around the listener and around the room and then above and behind and then in front as he's talking, and it's just one continuous motion as his voice moves around you. And they use that a lot with voices because the characters move around each other in those ways that doesn't happen on Earth. Like you won't be talking to somebody and have them suddenly, move above you and then behind you and then around you. And it just almost never happens. But in space, that absolutely can happen. And they make full use of the Atmos ability to track sounds around the listener. And it's so cool. So voices was one really cool example. There's also a scene where the spaceship or the space station that she's on catches on fire, and there's some explosions, and those just sound incredible as she's traveling, like literally flying through the space station, and the explosions are happening around her. You hear them traveling past you. it's just so, so cool. And then there was one scene in particular that I thought was really unique and just really, really cool. The sound, or I'm sorry, the camera is outside of Sandra Bullock's helmet, and it's slowly moving in towards her. And so all of the sound, it's her talking, and then, the sound of everything, her breathing that's going on around, and you hear it from outside her helmet. And as the camera gets closer and closer and closer, and it gets a little bit louder, and then it transitions from being outside of her helmet to now suddenly you've moved past the glass or the shield on her helmet, and now you're inside her helmet. And the way the sound shifts, it's not that it shifts in direction, it's not coming at you from a different direction, but just the tonality of the sound, you're suddenly transported from outside to inside her helmet. And I just thought that was such a cool effect. It's so well done. The mixing engineer on this one, or engineers, did such a great job. It's so, so cool. And this movie is awesome. It's kind of a roller coaster ride. A lot of people describe it as being relentless, like it's just nonstop stress and anxiety for an hour and a half. And I gotta say, that was my impression as well. Even, I've seen this movie a couple times, but watching it last night, it really struck me how there is a lot of really calm and downtime, for lack of a better word. A lot of just where not a lot is happening, where she's just kind of sitting there and just kind of talking, or that's certainly how the movie opens. But then even throughout the movie, there are scenes where everything just really slows down, calms down, and the sound, even though it's the opposite of frenetic and frenzied, it's really calm. The sound helps to add to that feeling and that environment of feeling everything just kind of pull inward and just kind of settle down, and your anxiety level goes down. And again, this movie is amazing, and I love this movie, and I enjoy it even more now, having seen it 3 times. It's amazing. And in my theater, it is so, so cool. And there's so many scenes that are excellent demo material. And the best part is, we now have this available. It's on Amazon, and it's only $16. So kind of sucks to be a scalper right now with the Diamond Lux Edition, because nobody is going to be buying the Diamond Lux Edition when they can get the exact same material for $16, brand new. So this is exciting, and a lot of people have been asking for this, and it is finally here. Now we just need it on 4K, which I don't know if that's going to happen, but honestly, it looked so good on my screen on Blu-ray that, 4K would be nice, but the picture really did look fantastic, and this sound is just a 10 out of 10. Excellent. Highly recommend. Thanks for watching.